Dear students, today we will discuss the topic why genetic sex is entirely determined by sperm. Before going to the explanation of the topic, we must be familiar with few terms like genetic sex, gonadal sex, and the phenotypic sex. So genetic sex is determined by the distribution of the sex chromosome in the cells of individual. In case of male, it is XY, 46XY is the male, and in case of female, it is 46XX. So it is in other word, genetic sex is a chromosomal sex. Now second is the gonadal sex. Gonadal sex, it depends on gonads. If a baby is having the male gonads or testes, then it is a male baby. If a baby is having female gonads like ovaries, then the baby is a female baby. And the presence and absence of SRY gene, that will determine this gonadal sex. Now the third term is the phenotypic sex. It is the apparent anatomical sex in the individual that is manifested by the external genitalia and the secondary sexual characters. So apparently or externally, this sex is determined by the external genitalia and the secondary sexual character, and this is known as the phenotypic sex. The type of sex characteristics, this is the male type of external genitalia, male type of secondary sexual character, and vice versa. It is determined by presence or absence of the masculinizing hormone testosterone along with the Mullerian inhibiting factor. If testosterone is present, Mullerian inhibiting factor is present, so one type of phenotypic sex will be generated. If it is absent, the other type of phenotypic sex will be generated. Fertilization happens due to the union of male haploid cell, that is the sperm, and the female haploid cell, that is ovum. Now we will see the basic process of gametogenesis, that is the process of development of ovum and the sperm, and what are their chromosomal pattern. So in case of female, in the two stage of meiotic division, only one cell survives. We can see here only one cell survives, and that is the ovum or egg, which contains a single X chromosome. All other cells will be destroyed. In case of male, what happens? After the meiotic division, there will be formation of 4 sperms. 2 will contain the X chromosome and the other 2 will contain the Y chromosome. So in case of male, so half of the sperm, the gametes, will contain the X chromosome and the half of them will contain the Y chromosome. So the female haploid cell, it contains only the X chromosome. Now it is the function of the sperm to determine the genetic sex of the fetus. If a sperm containing Y chromosome, it fertilizes the ovum, which has only the X. So if Y fertilizes the X, then the genetic sex of the gonad will be XY, and it is going to be a male baby. Whereas if X containing sperm is fertilizing an ovum, again ovum is X chromosome, so the genetic pattern of the zygote will be XX, and there will be generation of female baby. Now once the genetic sex is determined, it is determined, we have seen that Y, if it is fertilizing the ovum, then it will be male. If X sperm is fertilizing the ovum, then it will be female. Now once the genetic sex is determined, the development of gonadal sex, it will depend on presence or absence of SRY gene. Now SRY, or sex determining region of the Y chromosome. SRY stands for sex determining region of Y chromosome. It is located at the tip of the short arm of the Y chromosome. This is the Y chromosome. At the tip of the short arm of the Y chromosome, this specific genetic location is situated. Now, SRY is a DNA binding regulatory protein. It bends the DNA and acts as a transcription factor that initiates transcription of a cascade of genes necessary for the differentiation of the testes. And will be also activation of another gene that will stimulate the Mullerian inhibiting factor. So if the SRY gene is present, so differentiation of the cells will be such that there will be formation of testis, and as the Mullerian inhibiting factor is there, so Mullerian system will be inhibited or lost in case of male. Instead, there will be generation of or proliferation of Wolffian system that will form the vas deferens and all other internal genitalia of male. In case of female, as there is no SRY gene, so there will be no testis and there will be no Mullerian inhibiting factor. So Mullerian system will be not be inhibited, so it will be flourished, it will form the uterus and other internal gonadal organs for the female. So the gonadal sex is determined by the presence or absence of SRY gene. Now, once these gonads are formed, that is, testis is formed in case of XY and the ovaries are formed in case of XX. So, this testis will start secreting some hormones like testosterone, and that will be converted to form the dihydrotestosterone, and ultimately they will determine the external genitalia, and in case of puberty they will also determine the secondary sexual character. So first is the genetic sex or chromosomal sex determination. Then if XY is there, so SRY gene is present, that will determine the proliferation of testis and the Mullerian inhibiting factor synthesis. So once testis is there, that will secrete the testosterone and there will be formation of external male genitalia and there will be inhibition of Mullerian system. On the other hand, the Wolffian system or the vas deferens, they will be developed. In case of female, they have XX, so there is no SRY gene, so there will be formation of ovaries and there will be flourishment of the Mullerian system and they will form the internal genital organs for the female. So from this discussion, it is clear that it is the male contribution of Y chromosome that is ultimately determining the genetic sex of the zygote. Thank you and subscribe.